What's up, witches?
What's up, witches?
I'm Linda,
And I'm John.
and this is Getting Witchy. And in this episode, we're talking about planetary hours. So, just like in our previous episode, the days of the week have their own things to cast spells for. Each planetary hour also has something you would cast a spell for. And we're going to be talking about how to calculate the planetary hours and what each of those hours are good for.
And I'm not gonna lie, in my experience, doing it this way is a lot more complicated because, well, 1 a.m. on a Monday is not the same necessarily as 1 a.m. on Wednesday or
Correct.
1 p.m. on either day or any other day.
Right.
But there are some that have
Overlap.
or very similar
Similar.
similarities,
Right.
that just using this off the top of my head, because all this will be posted so you can see it, but let's say 2 o'clock on Tuesday is good for XYZ type of magic. Well, it just so happens that maybe 8 o'clock on Saturday is also good for the same thing, and you're off on that day and time. You're not working,
Right.
where many people are at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or they're getting ready for work if they work in service.
Right.
But you see my point. Like,
Mhm.
there's similarities between them to where you can plan it depending on whether or not the spell can wait and isn't urgent.
Right.
You can wait a couple of days and do it
At a time
properly,
that's more convenient.
or time that's more powerful for that particular type of magic.
That too.
But anyway,
Well, and here's the thing, when it talks about planetary hours, we're not talking about like a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. There are two different schools of thought that I came across when doing this research. One of them is the whole 1 a.m., 1 p.m. are good for this, 2 a.m., 2 p.m. are good for this. I actually didn't read very much into that because that's not the way that's taught most often. However, okay, if you are wanting to learn that particular way of doing things, you can always check out the Deviant Grimoire by Michael Blackthorne and Blythe Spirit.
And there's other resources, like I have info on that same thing, but not from that resource.
But the school of thought that came across the most often was that when you're planning on casting a spell, you have to calculate the planetary hours either of the day or the night. If you're going off of planetary hours of the day, then you have to figure out what time the sun rises and sets in your location for the day you're going to cast. You calculate how many minutes that is and then divide it by 12. And each one of those segments is a planetary hour. And it's the same for the night. But you would be going from sunset until sunrise the next day. And then divide by 12.
See, you're talking math and a level of planning that is of olden days, when you had nothing to do all day but plan out these things.
Which is why I don't really do this
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't either.
I just cast when I need to. But if you are wanting to do it this way, we're going to show you how it's done, or we're going to tell you how it's done. So let's say if I wanted to cast a spell today, sunrise, let's say sunrise was at 7:06 a.m.
Oh, I was going to look it up.
And sunset is 6:15. Between 7:06 and 6:15, there's like 11 hours. 11 hours times 60 minutes equals 660 minutes. And then you have to add like those extra 9 minutes from 06 to 15. So you get 669 minutes, and then you divide that by 12. And that gives you the amount of time in each planetary hour. So that would be 55.75 minutes or 55 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay. Now, some scholars that I have read have basically said, oh, just take the seconds off and set them aside. And basically they'll add up to their own planetary hour,
Okay,
which that doesn't sit right with me.
doesn't work.
That
Okay.
doesn't sit right with me. So yeah, we're looking at 55 minutes and 45 seconds. So the first 55 minutes and 45 seconds, once the sun rises, that is hour 1. And then the second one is hour 2, hour
Okay.
3, so on and so on.
Okay. So it's not by 1 p.m., 2 p.m., or 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m.
No, that's
It's the hour in which the sun rose or sunset.
right.
55 minutes based on
Right.
that calculate. Okay.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
No, the way you were thinking of was the second way, which I didn't really look into all that much because it just didn't.
No, it was literally the
Yeah.
1 a.m., 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
These are the best things for it.
Right.
Okay.
And likewise, if you're going to do the planetary hour of the night, it would be the same thing, but in reverse. Instead of sunrise to sunset, it would be sunset to sunrise the next morning. So that you know what time of night you
But
need
that
to
would
be.
mean that the nighttime hour, depending on the time of the year, summer, winter,
Mhm.
the nighttime hour would be longer than the daytime hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we are going to have these charts posted for you in our Facebook and Instagram so that
The
you
chart
can.
is fucking I'm sorry. To me, it's a tad bit maybe a little confusing, but more overwhelming. Like there's so much because you've got like let me switch to this real quick while we're God damn it. Here. So the planetary hours of the day, hour 1, again, you just described hour 1. It's not 1 a.m.
Right. It's the first hour of the day
Okay.
once the sun rises. And it is
On Sunday.
always going to be ruled by the ruler of that day. So on Sunday, it's always going to be the sun. Monday, it's always going to be the moon.
Okay.
And so
And then
forth.
Tuesday, Mars and
Right.
Mercury and Jupiter. Yeah.
Right.
But like so hour 1 is ruled by the sun, hour 2 on Sunday by Venus, hour 3 by Mercury, 4 the moon, 5 Saturn, and then it gets into
Jupiter and Mars and
where's okay, that was yeah. So this chart will show them what hour is associated to what planetary or
correct.
god.
Yes.
And then I guess it's just the attributes of that planet or god that rule that hour.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, see now I see why you said it wasn't really that confusing. Because when you put it like but then again you need to know what each attribute is of all the different planetary systems and or not systems, but and got Mercury, the moon, what each one, what is attributed to each one.
Right, which is why I wanted to start with the days, because the days tell what those planets control.
Gotcha.
And they also control that in the hours themselves.
So here you've got it in text.
Yes.
Sun hours, anything associated with the sun. It doesn't matter what time of the freaking day it is on what day of the week.
Right.
It could be attributed to the sun. General success and recognition, spiritual illumination, decisiveness, vitality, activities requiring courage, or a mood of self-certainty. I like that word, self-certainty. Making big decisions, scheduling meetings for for reaching decisions, giving speeches, launching new projects, seeking favors from father, husband, boss, or other person of authority. So those are all things that are good to do during an hour that is ruled by the sun.
Yes.
Okay. And the next one?
So the next one is going to be the Venus hours, which are ruled by love and friendship, artistic and social success, enjoyable, sociable, and aesthetic activities such as parties, social gatherings, recitals, exhibitions, weddings, visits, dating and seeking romance, planting ornamentals, buying gifts, clothing, luxuries, beauty treatments, and seeking favors from women, all the things that I absolutely detest. And yet,
Which is why when we get married, it's going to be a Halloween costume party.
And yet, I was born on a Friday
Which is probably why you
in
detest
the
all these things.
season of Libra.
Mercury hours, success in studies, communications. That makes sense. Mercury was the
Yes.
children making good impression, routine activities and activities requiring clear communication, teaching, learning, important business letters, phone calls, meetings to develop or communicate ideas, buying, selling, routine shopping, errands, travel, job applications, interviews, seeking favors from neighbors and or coworkers. That sounds kind of, just leave that one alone. Moon hours.
Moon hours include things like health and home, whether it's buying a home or moving, journeys, vacationing, time of leaving home or take off, activities remote in time or space. So things like meditation, making reservations, finding lost objects or people, planting foods and food crops, hiring employees, seeking favors from mother, wife, or employees.
Sounds good.
Well, and favors may not necessarily be anything naughty. It's just like, hey, can you do this for me, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Saturn hours. Discipline and patience, giving up bad habits, overcoming obstacles, success with difficult tasks or difficult people. Gee, there's not any of those out there. Projects, excuse me, of long duration, breaking ground, laying foundations, planting perennials. Yes, I just snorted because I had to throw away a bunch of perennials at my job and it broke my heart.
I know, baby.
Treating, and I had to throw them away because they said the season was over, not because they were dead. Many of them were quite vibrant
Yes,
still.
they were.
Anyway, treating chronic illness, making repairs, seeking favors from older people, not relatives. That was quite specific. Or difficult people. Oh, yeah, like I want to owe a favor to a prick.
Jupiter hours are associated with wisdom, optimism, money, whether it's borrowing, lending, investing, earning, winning, activities necessitating enthusiasm. So things like buying lottery tickets, seeking advice and consultation, settling disputes, seeking favors from grandparents, aunts, and uncles, or advisors such as doctors, lawyers, accountants, and astrologers. I find it interesting that they throw astrologers in there.
Right. And I've been holding this, and I probably look like an idiot in the, so I just realized. So on Monday, what planetary, what was that?
That was Jupiter, I think.
So Jupiter. So the 7th hour of the, no,
That's on Tuesday.
the 3rd hour of the day or the 10th hour, which is too late. But the 3rd hour of the day to buy lotto on Monday. On Wednesday would be the 4th hour. And on Friday would be the 5th. Interesting. Okay, let me go back to
Oh,
this.
I see. I
You
think I
see
see
what
where,
I'm saying?
yep.
You
I
see
think
where I'm
yep,
going with
yep,
that?
I think I see where you're going with
Because
that.
Jupiter is good for buying lottery tickets.
Yep.
Okay. So and see, there's how magic can play into everyday things that you're doing. If you play the lottery, why not buy the lottery on the hours that are best for that particular action? Luck. Mars hours, courage, adventure, enforcing your will, success with drastic action, surgery, lawsuits, conflicts, going to war. All
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
pretty drastic.
Sports, same thing. You're going to war. It's just not trying to kill them necessarily or hopefully. Exercise, risk taking, making complaints. And
Hiring employees.
I hate that aspect of my position, but termination is part of it. Seeking favors from husband or boyfriend.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
Excuse me.
You don't have to worry about trying to seek favors from your husband or boyfriend.
No shit, really? Anyway, so with this is the chart that I briefly looked up, like the best days, because we buy our lotto on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes.
And we buy it for the next anything that's gonna draw that we
That day
want
or
to
the next
play.
day.
Right. So it's 3 days a week. And so, well, now hour 10 on Monday may not be too late. It depends on when the sun rose. Well, no,
Yes.
that would still be pretty late. 10 hour 10, that's still gonna be like 8 o'clock, and that's after. Yeah, so it'd have to be bought at hour 3, which would probably be like 8 or 9,
Okay.
depending on. And then with Wednesday, 9 or 10,
Okay.
because again,
Right.
at 8 o'clock, even though the later time slot for Jupiter rose up from 10 to 8, that's still 8 o'clock is, or see, I'm still doing the 8 o'clock thing. The 8th hour
Right.
is probably too late to buy lotto because it shuts off at 7, right?
7 p.m. Yes. But the 8th hour, so that's where the whole math comes into play though.
And then
Because like
5,
if
5th hour on
if
Friday.
there's a specific amount of time between sunrise, sunset, and you divide by 12, that gives you the amount of time that each
Per hour slot.
Yes. So if it's like 55 minutes and 45 seconds, then hour 1 is going to be like 1, or let's say sun up is 7:06. So it's going to go 7:06 to
8,
8 something,
7:59.
yeah, 7:59 and 55 seconds kind of thing. So it's
not, I mean, it is hour 1 of the day, but because they regulated the day by daylight
right.
and nighttime by night,
Nice.
it wasn't 12 a.m. and 12 p.m.
Right.
It was literally day
Yes.
and night.
However, the other
That fucks with me. I don't know if you guys can figure that out yet, but that messes with me. Like,
but the other way that I found,
and that makes more sense though.
the other way that I found though does go off of like 1 a.m., 1 p.m. is this, 2 a.m., 2 p.m. is
Yes,
this.
that's what that's,
However, it's all based on that particular author's feeling of those times of day. They basically tell you to sit in those hours and decipher for yourself how you feel. Like, what do you feel you're called to doing during these hours?
and before we end this, because we're basically over, but
Yeah.
That is that aspect right there of, there's multiple authors with multiple perspectives, and the similarity between them all is sitting in that hour, and they didn't say it, but meditate what works best for you at that time period. And that's what I mean, that's really what magic is all, what works best for you at that time.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with that,
Okay.
because most of what I have read coming up in my witchiness is that X is X, Y is Y. And it wasn't until recently, within the past 5 years or so, that it has become, oh, whatever you feel is.
Oh, you mean about the time you met me?
But it's not just about that. Like, it's even in my Facebook groups, it's, oh, intention is everything, so you can just do whatever you want and it's still gonna work. No, that's actually not true.
No,
Um,
probably will work, but if
it might
yeah,
work,
yeah,
but I mean, if you want to do it the proven way, I guess, then follow the charts that we're going to have posted on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to try a different way, though, if you want to be a little bit deviant, then check out this book, because this is where I found the other way. I didn't look much into it, though, but I have followed the authors for quite some time.
in other books, or
Um,
with other books.
just on their media presence, their social media presence.
Good.
And actually that
Excuse me.
but definitely check out different
I
ways.
have
If
a
it
personalized book from Admiral Ozzel.
who
Admiral Ozzel.
who's that?
My Star Wars fans know.
Oh,
Dude that got choked out on the video screen by Vader
oh,
for coming back, for
coming.
dropping out of, shut up, for dropping out of light speed too close to the system, and was discovered by the rebels. He was choked out on the video screen. And I met the dude and shared a drink with him at a celebrations convention. Not shared an actual drink. We had our own drinks. But
You had a
he
drink with
was
him.
he and well, he has passed, but he was an awesome dude. Like he was down to earth as a motherfucker. Like the books I have from him signed were, this is way off subject.
Yeah,
Never mind.
but it's okay.
No.
Talk.
No, just like he sent them to me after the convention. Like I gave him my info and offered to pay for the books because I wanted them in my collection. And he's like, no, just give me your address, and sent three, well, his three books, personalized, each one.
That's nice though.
But he was cool. That's, I kind of miss that. I like that about us. Anyway,
All right, so
Sorry. Sorry. See, that's why we have the freaking overhead.
yes,
I just called it an overhead projection. Like when we were in school with the freaking, it was a
was this a
square box
projector?
with this freaking giraffe neck coming out that shot out onto the screen, the overhead projector, to try to keep me on track because things make me think of other things and memories. Anyway, so this graph will be,
We will have the charts for the planetary hours of the
yeah,
day
it's
as
not a
well as
graph,
the
it's a chart.
night,
Sorry.
the hours of the night posted to our Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Um, was there anything else?
No, no, I think I've added enough. Love y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience while we try to get this shit together. Um,
So what do we have up next?
well, it's definitely not days and the planets. I would think it would be colors and candles at this point.
Colors and candles. All right,
Yeah,
so
which will also, again, based on the information we just put out, like,
overlap a little bit.
well, a lot. Like, there are certain colors you only want to, if you're going to do candle magic, well, and you want to do that on a specific day.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, colors and candle magic, I think, is next.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, witches.
Be safe, y'all. You didn't even, that's
Um.
what?